Hello, hello, hello. Let me know if you can see and hear me. This is going to be a group energy healing where I heal 135 people in 13 countries. And it will be fabulous. And today's date is Wednesday, the 8th of July, 2026. And it's the July triplet set, healing 3 of 3. And the theme that we'll be doing is the theme that we have all this month for both sets is liberate and inform yourself and your life, which sometimes I have described as clear repression and hear your angels, just to like try to make it a little more obvious part of what we're doing. But today I have an interesting sub-theme that we'll work on a lot, and it applies to more people than you might think. It applies to everybody basically. And that is, that's right up there, safety with global conflicts. And what I mean is energy safety. So there'll be a whole explaining chapter on that. I'll try to be brief, but it's a thing for anybody. And it can be more of a thing for people who are like in the US. Global conflict oftentimes is not within the US just because we have the oceans and everything as sort of a buffer. Whereas in other parts of the world, there's not that luxury. So it might be like 1 or 2 countries over, or right in your country, that there is literal, armed conflict or, explosions related to conflict, wars, basically. So I'm not talking about, physical safety from that, although I guess it's like a cousin of what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is energetic safety. So I'll go into that. But like I said, that is relevant even for all my clients that are physically in the continental US, just because the energy stuff is, yeah, I'll explain it. But anyway, so that should be cool. And woven into that also is other stuff that will help you just in your life, period. So totally up to you, but if you like, using these live streams for self-healing, I would say don't necessarily skip the global conflict part, listening to what it is and kind of getting a sense of it. If you receive the healing, you wouldn't really have to redo like the part 1 of what I'm doing with that, because I'm doing it, helping you to have boundaries with global conflict energy, let's say. But the other parts might be like there's a part 1 and a part 2. So the part 2 might be something that you enjoy redoing, because it just helps in general in sort of the liberate your life type idea. So I know that sounds vague, but I'll explain that more specifically, what we're doing for the energy safety stuff. But so that's a 2-parter, and I'm gonna sandwich those 2 parts of like energy safety with global conflict work in between like all the 5 essentials. So we'll do grounding first, and then we'll do part 1 of the energy safety with global conflict stuff, and then we'll do the other 4 essentials, aura repair, creative repair, chakra repair, back of head stuff, and then I'll finish the energy safety with global conflict stuff. Which, like I said, is really useful stuff, even just in general, like, because part of that part 2 is like clearing fear, which helps with everything, including fear of taking action. So, it could help your focus and sort of productivity. So it's not just about global stuff. But anyway, so that's that. And then there'll be this part about removing other people's expectations from your energy field, and in more of like a your life kind of a level of like, because you can step into sort of expectations from most commonly your parents, genetic parents, or it could be like a grandparent who gives you expectations like in early childhood or before that, you know, in the spiritual agreement process of, you know, around conception time. So being able to remove people's expectations can be super liberating and really interesting too. Like, I think then you can be more open to different realizations and different information from your angels, say about career choices and, you know, habits and stuff. If you aren't kind of cocooned within these expectations that you've been carrying your whole life from other people. So like an example of the whole expectations thing might be, you know, maybe one of your parents handed you this expectation that you should stabilize other people. So you should always be the stabilizing force. You should be the one with the, you know, the mainstream job and the insurance, and you should be the one with this and that, and other people get to, you know, do whatever they want, and you're the rock. You're everybody's rock, you know. And maybe that is a part of your true path, but obviously with somebody's expectation in your space, then it's hard to figure that out, you know. So maybe it's not a part of your path to be, you know, sort of the stabilizing force of all your extended family. You know, it's good to find out, you know, if that is truly a part of your path, then rock on, you know. But if it's not truly a part of your path, it's probably not an accident that you picked those parents or those family members that handed you those expectations. It could be that, you know, it is your path to get stuck in those expectations and then clear them and, you know, have that metamorphosis of like, you know, within a lifetime of being like, wow, you know, now I can think this, and now I can do this, and now I can whatever. Because, you know, in between lifetimes, like in heaven, when you're reflecting, it's really easy to see, like, you know, because the angels help you to understand everything. And you're like, oh, of course. Once again, I changed my what I did based on, you know, the roles that were sort of invasively put upon me. You know, but in the lifetime, to have those roles invasively put upon you, and then within the lifetime to clear them and to spend, you know, still have more days and months to, and maybe, you know, years to move on from that, and then self-discover and do maybe something that is more authentic to you, is, you know, kind of like the dessert of spirituality, you know. It's like the maybe dessert is a bad word for it, but it's sort of like the ultimate, you know, in spiritual growth is to overcome something within a lifetime and then, you know, see what you can achieve after that. So anyway, so that's the whole expectations thing. So maybe I wasn't going to make that a chapter, but that one was kind of neat, so maybe we will. So I'll just say that was the expectations part. And it also speaks to the whole liberate your life thing. Okay. So then, so we're going to repeat an exercise that we did in the last healing that not only was beneficial to the people, and specifically the people that write surveys. I read their energy and see which technique helped them the most and stuff. Just as a reader, you don't have to know which technique helped you the most when you do your survey. You just tell me how you feel. That's it. That's all you got to do. Put your full name, tell me how you feel. That's it. But anyway, several of the techniques from the healing 2 of 3 yielded really good results for people. Like all that cord melting stuff we did, that was pretty big for a bunch of people. Like different people were like, I have so much energy now. And for some of them, it was the clear core issues part that we did, which was a different, technique in the healing, which is easy. But, we made sure they're healthy and gentle, but we cleared some core issues that people had. And so for some people, that was the reason why they had so much more energy now. But a lot of people, it was the cord melting stuff. But this stuff, interestingly enough, this technique, the colored balls, mind garden, clearing blocks, it's like we did it for unrepressing energy of yours that's healthy and gentle to unrepress. And we did it for helping you to have helpful realizations. And it did look like it worked well for both of that. And it also, I just feel like there's even more benefit to do again today in this healing. Oh yeah, and I did want to mention that it looked like this technique not only helped with those things that I knew it would help with, because we did it that way on purpose, to help with helpful realizations and to help with unrepressing energy of yours that is healthy and gentle to unrepress right now. It helped with psychic awareness and like hearing your angels and reading and seeing your energy better for a lot of people. So it does make sense to me. I just didn't think about it that it would help that. So it's sort of like a happy surprise, but not a shocking surprise for me. Because as a reader and an energy healer, when you use your intuition or your clairvoyance, there is a way in which you need to kind of relax and let your knowledge sort of float into your consciousness. So there is a lot of like, having a well mind, and an unblocked mind, so that, you can kind of discover, as you're seeing things. Because a lot of times, even if you see crystal clear, which, many times you probably won't be seeing crystal clearly, you need to interpret. And you need to use your intuition to figure out what to look at. It's sort of like an investigation, and so there's a lot of intuition. There's a lot of like, listening to your own intuition, your higher self, your angels, remembering stuff that you already know, but it's subconscious, that kind of idea. So anyway. That's another good reason for us to repeat it, because it can help you be a better reader healer, which, could be, if you're a self reader and healer, then that's super valuable. And if you're also on top of that, a pro reader healer, then of course that's a little extra valuable, maybe, because it's part of your career. But, a lot of careers do use psychic ability, even if, overtly people don't think of it that way. Like a good policeman is probably also quite psychic, and using intuition and vision and, seeing physical things, but also reading energy and seeing energy stuff, maybe, half subconsciously. but you know, so all sorts of different careers use psychic ability, so it can help you professionally as well as in your own self-care, no matter who you are. Alrighty. And then when we wrap up, so I think when we wrap up, we'll do similar things to what we did in the last healing, you know, in the little wrap up chapter at the end of the healing. We'll do 7th to 8th chakra connection unblocking. We'll unblock the legs a little bit, and we'll unblock and repair chakra filaments, which connect your major physical 7 chakras to your major astral 7 chakras. And then we'll do extra unblocking of the lowest, physically lowest, not like lowly or inferior, but you know, extra work on blocking 3, 2, and 1 physical body chakras, 3, 2, and 1. And I think that could be and the wrap up, we'll do that 3-step wrap up, which includes recycling lurkers and a blue soak for your mind and clearing STEBs. So it's gonna be a pretty packed little wrap up section. But that's what we did, you know, 3 days ago too. And I think that also could have been part of why, you know, people had especially good results. Most people in this, from this last healing. It's just the, you know, the wrap up. Because, you know, not everybody does amazing self-healing, you know, especially the day after getting one of these healings. And so it's nice to already be like a little extra cleaned out so that, you know, your path forward is already kind of easier. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. I'm going to go ahead and check out. No, I guess I'll do a little sales moment first. So this is my email address and my website address. And you're welcome to check out my website if you wish, and purchase a set of healings. Right now, the July twin set, which is later this month, is still available, and that has the same theme: liberate and inform yourself in your life, which is a really broad topic, so we can fit a lot of really cool stuff in with that. And then next month, August sets are up on the website as well. And next month's theme is think, communicate, and focus more effectively, which is cool. And there are 2 promotions going on right now. There's the newbie promotion, where if you, like for a pure newbie who I've never healed in a group healing before, if you are that kind of person, or you just have a friend who's that kind of person, if somebody purchases a set of group healings for one of those pure newbies, then somebody, the purchaser, can award a free set to themselves or to a different friend that I've read before or something like that. So it's like a buy one, get one free thing, for if the buying one is for a pure newbie. And then the other promo is the new subscription promo. So if you buy, like, say, a new full subscription, then you get 2 free sets. And I can explain more of that by email if somebody's curious about that. All right, so enough with that. Oh, I know. All right, so let's see. So then this is just like 2 general quick announcements. I have forgotten to mention, I made a new excerpt video on Friday. So during this triplet set, like the day after the first healing, I made an excerpt video of the 4th chakra work that we had done in that first healing of the set. And it was cool work. It wasn't just unblocking the fourth chakra and the fourth chakra rivers and the fourth chakra layers. It was also extra unblocking on just the fourth chakra, physical fourth chakra in the back, like extra repair, detailed repair on it, like removing devices, checking the flaps and all that, which is especially, I think, powerful if you're healing yourself and you're just working on yourself. And so then it's just one chakra, and it's one specific chakra, fourth physical body chakra, and then in back. So you can really, it's like a nice, even if you're not used to doing detailed work, but you want to, I think it's a nice opportunity to get that done. And then there was something else we did that was cool with that fourth chakra work, which I'm not remembering. But anyway, it's pretty short video. I think it's like 11 minutes or something. But it fits a lot of good stuff in it, a lot of goodies. So I didn't email people about that one because I had already emailed to say all the extras were done. And I didn't want to send 2 emails in the same day to like people, getting the triplet set. So I don't know, like maybe, I mean, when people subscribe, they'll see the excerpt video, but I don't know if like maybe people they don't mind 2 emails in a day and they want to be alerted to when there's a new excerpt video right away. I don't know. I mean, I think most people could just see the alert from YouTube, if you subscribe and then you click the little bell icon. But if that's not the case and you would have wanted the second email in the day to know that there was a hot off the presses new excerpt video up, you could email me and let me know that, you don't mind multiple emails in a day if it's newsworthy. But in general, I don't do that. I don't send out 2 emails in a day because, even to people getting the triplet set, it seems like a bit much. But anyway, and then there's no post-healing chat today because today's Wednesday, and on Wednesday, both my husband and I live stream, and I just, it's better scheduling wise to just not do a post-healing chat for me. So, but you can post a question, after the live stream is done, you can post a question as a video comment. And then I'll check at some point later. I'll go back in YouTube and look for those comments and post a comment replying to your comment. So anyway, okay. So I'll do a little quiet now for 1 or 2 minutes. I don't know how long, and then I'll start healing without talking, most likely just a little bit, and then but that'll all be maybe 2 or 3 minutes tops, and then the rest of the healing is I'll say out loud what I'm doing as I do it. So it's like an all-level self-healing walkthrough if you feel motivated to do that. Okay. Okay, thank you for waiting. So let's recreate your grounding and unblock it. So you can just imagine your groundings, which are your connection and your body's connection to the core of the earth. And you could let go of your old ones and recreate, make new ones. And you can make them both the same color. And I would suggest both red or both orange or both yellow, whichever shade you please among those colors. You can test red groundings, see if that releases well for you right now. Test orange groundings, test yellow groundings, and just keep whichever color works best for you right now. As far as releasing, letting go down to the core of the earth. And then you make a copy out in front of you of your everything. All your auras and your physical body and your astral body are in the middle of those auras. And then both your fabulous groundings that you just made, going down to the core of the earth. And you're combing through them with gold light that is generated by your hand chakras and your fingertip chakras. And they generate gold light when you set them with your intention to a metallic gold color. You don't have to be able to see energy to do that. So just set them to gold. So that way, as they naturally spin and generate energy, it will be at that metallic gold vibration. And then you use gold light from one hand to unblock and nurture the other hand, because the more unblocked these chakras are, the better they work, the more energy they generate. Okay, and then bring your groundings up high as your third chakras. So your third chakra is below your sternum. So that's the bone right there. That's your sternum. And then just below that, that's where your third chakra is. So go ahead, bring your groundings up all the way that high, just to give extra support to chakras 3, 2, and 1. And indie grounding is where you run gold light through the outer surface of both your groundings, and you melt away anything that's not you, anything that attaches your grounding to somebody else's grounding. Just melt all that. Any hard objects sticking out, melt those away. Indie stands for independent, so independent grounding. And sometimes people get stuck in a sense of responsibility for people they care about. And there is there's a clean form of that where you really do care about your loved ones and you want to help them, possibly as much as possible. But getting stuck in responsibility means you're kind of doing it in a way that weakens you and doesn't really help them either. So you can search for any of that unhealthy type of responsibility for others that's in your grounding, and just round it all up and use so much gold light that you melt it away. So again, sweep together any unhealthy responsibility for others in your grounding and surround it in so much gold light that it starts to melt away. And just in general, you can get all sorts of energy blocks caught up in your grounding. Other people's energy that maybe you're trying to help, or people who just for whatever reason have some aggression triggered and they're dumping harmful energy in your grounding, whatever, just anything that's not you, just sweep it all together. That's in your grounding, sweep it all together. Use so much gold light. You can even say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings that are hooked into this junk? And then just keep using gold light and melt all those blocks away. So again, just sweep together any junk in your grounding that's not yours, and just use so much gold light. Say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings corded to this junk? And then just keep using gold light to melt it all away. So you want your grounding to flow as well as possible downward. That allows you to process challenging events. It allows you to you'll be at your best, be as present as possible, as productive as possible, to have a more calm and centered mind, all sorts of good benefits to a flowing grounding. All right. So let's do this part right here, the energy safety with global conflict. Let's do that now. Okay, so first we'll just do a red earth energy soak, easy peasy. And then I will do this as a healer to the people that I'm healing. But you could just, if you're just healing yourself and you're not getting this healing, or maybe you're listening to it again later as a video, just ask your angels, can you help me with this? You know, and have your angels do it for you. Yeah. Okay, so red earth energy soak could not be easier. Just make both your groundings red and bring up red earth energy from the core of the earth up, and just leave it up for while we're working on the other stuff. Unless that's intensely uncomfortable for you, or unless it's uncomfortable for you, unless you have a huge issue with red or something, then you could use orange or yellow. But I think that red is optimal if you're okay with it. Because it's a lower vibration. It's not too low to like maybe cause depression or something, but it's very low. So it helps you to separate if you're getting ready to separate from invasive beings, like the lower vibration, especially with these types of invasive beings is nice. If it was like depression beings, then maybe you'd be at yellow instead, you know, because depression beings maybe are at a black. So you want to be different from them, you know, but right now with these global conflict beings, they're more like at a white or a silver. So we want to go at the lowest rainbow color, you know, so red. So nice red soak, bring a nice red soak up, right? So you have your red groundings and use them like a straw, bring up red earth energy up, and just leave it up there for now, right? Deep breath, remind yourself it's okay to receive. It's okay to let go. All right. So separate from global conflict invasive beings. So I'm not going to explain for very long, I don't think. We'll see, of course. Famous last words, right? But let me see. There we go. Okay. So wars, or, you know, things that people don't call a war, but it involves military, you know, fighting and stuff. It's people fighting, but a lot of it though is invasive, like darker energies and bigger, darker energies fueling that conflict, fueling the hatred, fueling the racism, fueling the, you know, all that stuff that happens, the dehumanization of the enemy, you know, all that like cruelty stuff, you know, that especially you would see in a conflict situation. That is a lot of times it's these invasive beings, the bigger ones that are using people kind of like puppets, you know, just to like crash them into each other and destroy each other. You know, they just enjoy that, like human suffering, basically, which, you know, not great, but it's true. So you want to be separate from that. All right. So, and, you know, you might be physically in a conflict area, you know, there is possible that, you know, 5 minutes away from you was bombed, or, you know, whatever, you know what I mean? But those big invasive beings, you can be separate from those, even if, you know, you are literally on the front lines of a battle, you know, physical military battle. You could still be separate from those beings, and that would help you to be a lot more present and help you to better work with your angels and better take care of your physical safety and just keep your kind of like your sanity, you know, and manage your stress better. Because obviously all that's very triggering, and we'll clear some of that too after this, you know, the fear and stuff of you know, because you can have past life fear that you haven't finished clearing about, you know, being around or exposed to, you know, military battles and wars and all that. So, but anyway, but right now we're working on just getting separate from those big invasive beings that try to fuel humans destroying other humans, basically. And so we'll basically I'll do it, and I'll just say out loud what I'm doing as I do it. And the thing is, I would say, I used to say this a lot. I don't say it much more because I don't like, I don't know, it sounds a bit self-aggrandizing, but I need to say it though for safety reasons so people understand. Like, you know, that expression, you know, kids don't try this at home. Yeah. It's kind of like that, you know, like there are different risk levels, you know, if you're a self-healer, just healing yourself, and you're not, you know, doing anything yourself with global conflict beings, that's pretty darn safe. You know, you just ask your angels to recycle some invasive beings that happen to be in your leg channels or, you know, in your back of head area, and, you know, you're fine. You just go off and have a great day, right? And then a higher risk level is if you're a one-on-one healer professionally, or you are like in a helping profession, like a psychiatrist or a psychologist. You are also dealing with the invasive beings of your clients. And, you know, I don't have to go into why, but if you want to know, then I don't know, you could ask me at some point. But so that's an extra level of risk, quite a bit more. So those people have to, you know, really have their act together as far as self-healing and being able to see themselves and heal themselves and clean themselves out, right? And then there's group healers like myself, and that's significantly greater risk than a one-on-one professional healer, because you're not only dealing with just more people at once, so therefore more invasive beings from more people at once, you know, all your clients, but you, as a group healer, you attract the energy of these sort of this larger size of invasive beings, pretty much the largest, almost the largest size of invasive beings on the planet. And so you know, have to be pretty strong and pretty determined to repair yourself, and you have to put up with a lot of, you know, energy attacks, basically. And you know, you minimize it and whatever, but it's a thing, you know. So what I'm about to do to like pull out the global conflict energies from the people I'm healing is not something I would recommend to anybody on any lower level of, you know, the rung, you know, like, so an individual healer, self-healer, or an individual pro healer even. It's definitely a group healer level thing that I'm about to do, which is why I said, if you're listening later as a video, you could ask your angels to do it, you know, as long as you are not doing it. then, that's fine. That's, totally safe. But if you do what I'm about to do, then that would not be good. So because of that, I probably won't narrate as closely what I'm doing, just in case, I get someone who's like, let me give it a try, because you really can get kind of flattened by these larger beings and they don't forget you. So I've had to like sort of do triage later for a couple, like moms that decided to heal all their kids at once or something, and they ended up getting viewed as a group healer and got a lot of heat, so that's all. It's just to say, don't do what I'm about to do unless you're a pro group healer and you know what you're doing. And then of course, I mean, you can do what you want, but that would be my recommendation. Okay. So that said, it's just this one part that I'm about to do is the part that, is a group healer only type level. Okay. Hope that makes sense. Enough talking about it. Just, doing for real. I like that. Okay, great. So, so I guess at first I'll just be quiet and do some stuff and then I'll explain. Okay. So I will make video chapters so that you don't, I mean, you could watch that, the part where I did it, where I was quiet, or you could just not, you could just say, angels, if I need that kind of clean out she's doing, can you do it for me? But say angels, so they do it. But, you could also just skip that part because I'm not saying anything. So whatever. But anyway, what I did, I won't describe literally what I did, just because there could be some people who are like, let me try it, and then put themselves in danger. So, but in general, what I did is I helped people to clear some devices so that the global conflict beings don't notice them anymore. It's kind of like there are these little devices that make the global conflict beings notice someone as sort of like a potential plaything for them. So if you get rid of the potential plaything devices, then they don't really think about it. They just work with the other people that they can mess with. And these beings are so big that the global conflict beings, that I didn't, even ask that they get recycled because it wouldn't have worked. Because there are too many human beings that are participating willingly in that kind of a game with them. And so it's like with the people that are willingly, diving into the conflict and the racism and the dehumanization of others and the violence, that sort of gives those beings permission to be around, on Earth. So even if there are people that don't want any part in that and they ask, well, can you recycle those beings? It just doesn't happen. You can opt out of it, but you can't get those beings off the planet, I guess, unless, more and more and more people opt out. Then eventually, yeah, sure, the angels could do it. But at this point, from what I can see, it's just an opt-out thing that you can do. An opt-out of getting manipulated by those global conflict beings. Now, it doesn't mean that you don't care about global conflict. You could even, physically fight in a military, and have this opt-out thing with those beings. Or you could just, donate to political organizations or whatever level of activity you want to do. But then the idea is you'd be safe. You'd energetically separate from those larger global conflict invasive beings. So anyway, I removed the sort of the plaything devices that were in people's spaces. Well, I just run gold light through them so they melted, and I made sure they all melted. And then I just did like a tricolor soak for people. And I double checked, different people, because different people had those invasive global conflict beings in their space for different reasons. Like there could be some American who just resists, who lives in the US and is in resistance to the global conflicts, and therefore they lost boundaries and they, got that stuff in their space. Or they could be somebody who, lives literally in a country that is at war, or, like a whatever, or like a neighboring country, and so it very much affects your family and whatever. And it doesn't mean you would lose boundaries with those beings, but if you're in resistance and all that trauma and getting so triggered by all the hardships around you, then it's more the resistance and the stress that can make it easy for you to lose boundaries with that kind of being. But anyway, so that's that. So I help people get their boundaries back with those beings, the global conflict beings. So now, now still as part of this sort of part one thing, I want to do one more thing. So I will change my little banners. Okay, so now we will work your non-resistance to these global conflict invasive beings. There are other large beings of that similar sort of size and power level, like that. Well, yeah, those are probably the biggest ones I can think of. But anyway, so it's really good to not resist. You know, resistance is like you get so caught up in all the triggers and you're not grounded and you just, you don't have boundaries that way. And so since you want boundaries with these big invasive beings that, cause people to harm each other and just cause a lot of stress too. Non-resistance means you've cleared your triggers and you're present and you just keep maintaining that as much as you can so that your boundaries are stronger, much stronger, right? So, so let's do that. So we could just do it simply like a gold blanket exercise type idea. So make a big gold blanket out in front of you. Imagine, create with your intention a big gold blanket out in front of you and pile onto it copies of any baggage that gets triggered when you think about global conflict, when you think about wars, when you think about, one country and what they're doing to a different country or, whatever, all that global conflict stuff, the political stuff that's related to global conflict, so just anything that triggers when you're thinking about all that, put it out in front of you on a blanket and say, angels, can you double check to make sure this is all healthy and gentle for me to clear right now? And take a deep breath while your angels double check it. And then angels, can you recycle any invasive beings that are hooked into this junk? So then you just got a bunch of energy blocks that get triggered that cause you to go into resistance about conflict and political conflict and whatever, right? So you can do the rest. Just bring up red earth energy, soak all this baggage in red earth energy, gold light, and melt everybody's cords, including yours, going into all this baggage. Get everybody out, get yourself out. So it's just a bunch of energy blocks, and just at that point you could blow it all up, or you can just keep using gold light until it all melts. And then deep breath. So we'll do that non-resistance part one more time, a little faster. So big gold blanket out in front of you, pile onto it anything that triggers, copies of any baggage that triggers when you think about war, when you think about, political parties, political conflict, whatever, battles, military, whatever, right? All that stuff. And angels, is it healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? Deep breath while your angels sort through it. And then angels, can you recycle any invasive energies that are hooked into this junk? Deep breath while your angels do that for you. And then do the rest yourself. Red earth energy, bring that up from the core of the earth. And then use gold light from your hands. Melt everybody out of this baggage. Yourself, everybody else. Melt all the cords. And one more time, just for good luck. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings that are hooked into this baggage? All right. And so then you can keep using gold light and melt it all, or you could blow it up. And if you're healing someone else, you know, don't blow up their stuff. That's too bossy. Just use cold light to melt things. All right. Good job. Good job. Woohoo. So that was what I call part 1 of the energy safety with global conflict work. So now we can do the rest of the 5 essentials. So we did grounding already. So now we can do aura repair. So we're going to repair and unblock all your auras at the same time. You have 17 auras, but that might blow your mind if you're a newbie, so don't worry about it. Just that you have definitely more than one. And you want them all to be repaired and flowing nicely, right? So that's what we're going to do. So create with your intention or your imagination an image of an aura rip. And it can look like a valley. And just say with your intention, okay, this rip represents all the rips that I have right now in all my auras. And then you're going to clean out the rip and keep using gold light to repair it, right? So to clean it out, use sticky gold wax, which is gold light that sticks to whatever's not you. So put the gold light in there, let it stick to all the junk that's not you, and lift all that out at once. Angels, here you go. So what is all that? Sticky gold wax, let it stick to everything that's not you. So that would be hard objects that someone threw at you, perhaps, or invasive people or invasive beings that are just in the way here. So just have it be one big lump, and angels, here you go. So then you can use gold light and the rip is nice and cleaned out, so you can get very good contact with the ripped parts, and just keep using gold light, get it nice and deep in there so that the repair starts and the aura rip starts growing back. And keep breathing. And maybe you missed a few of the hard objects, so you can just surround those hard objects in gold light, lift them out. Angels, here you go. And you can say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings that are in the way of this repair? And if you want to say that multiple times, you can just say, angels, one more time, invasive beings, please. You know, or angels, repeat. And I guess just quickly we'll do it again. So make a new copy of a rip and just say, okay, well, this rip represents any leftover rips that I have right now. And then sticky gold wax, lift out all the junk. Angels, here you go. Sticky gold wax, lift out all that junk. Angels, here you go. Get the gold light really deep in there. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings in the way of this repair? Pop out any extra hard objects. Angels, here you go, that you may have missed. Angels, here you go. And let all the gold mesh spheres regrow. That's just gold mesh. Each Wei-Chi aura has 3 of those. They wrap all around you and they generate gold light. So they can get ripped though. So you just let them grow back with the gold light. And then just double check the outer surface of all your auras and check for any leaks, energy leaks, because maybe there's a teeny little rip left. And if you see any of those or feel any of those, just use gold light right there and repair it up. Pop out the hard objects. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings in the way of the repair? All right, good job. And you can redo your gold buffer zones. Those are big gold flowy force fields that you can create for the edge of your physical body aura and your astral body aura. So you have 2 gold buffer zones, and you can recreate them really quickly whenever you want. I do have a separate video where we make one in a more slow way, and then you practice making it quickly at the end of that video. And that, if you want to see that, it would be called, if you search Janet Wright Healing Gold Aura Buffer Zones, something like that, you'll find it. It's like 18 minutes. You can see me very caffeinated in that video. All right, good enough. Oh, unblocking your auras. You can just comb through, you know, like keep turning your little copy of yourself. So first you're combing this way, and then turn it and comb this way and this way, just so you make sure you get like a lot of major blocks cleared that are, and just have your intention be, you want to clear what's healthy and gentle to clear right now, right? So use lots of gold light and take your time and melt the stuff, especially the bigger stuff. So then spin your copy, do it again, find the bigger blocks, use gold light, melt the bigger stuff. Top and bottom of all your auras, run gold light through the bigger blocks. And of course, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked up to this stuff? And melt the blocks. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings? And just a reminder that when you're unblocking your sides, that you do have that gallbladder meridian that goes largely up and down the side of your body, and that helps with decisiveness. So gallbladder meridian. So that's another good reason to unblock the sides of your auras. Of course, your gallbladder meridian, Wei Qi aura wraps all around you, but the most important spot for that would be, you know, right near the meridian itself. La 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 la. All right, good job. So that was repair and also unblocking of all your auras. Woohoo! Good job, good job. Double confetti. Okay, so I'm going to stick in the 3-step wrap up here. Maybe ideally I would have done it immediately, you know, before the aura repair, right after that, all the energy safety with global conflict part 1 stuff that we did. But better late than never. So let's do it. So this is the 3-step wrap up stuff right here. So recycling lurkers, super easy because the angels do it. So you can just say, you don't even have to imagine anything if you don't want to. You can just say, angels, can you recycle my lurkers? Which are invasive beings that you've knocked out of your space because you're so awesome and you're a rock star and you did this great unblocking just now. But these invasive beings, they're maybe a little more stubborn, and so they're just waiting for an opportunity. They're, you know, maybe a foot outside of your aura or 10 feet outside your aura, and they're just kind of still keeping an eye on you to see when you get more stuck again, and they can pop back in. You know, so if you have your angels recycle all of them, then they can't do that, right? So, and if you want to imagine, just imagine yourself, you know, in your auras, and then the lurkers would be close by all around, or some would be further out, pretending that they're really not watching you. There's the angels, can you recycle all my lurkers? And then occasionally you have some lurkers that you actually have agreements with, obviously unhealthy agreements with these invasive beings, but it is possible. And some people get fooled into thinking like, well, this being says they're helping me. This being says they've been helping me for decades. Well, if it's an invasive being, it can say all sorts of things, and it doesn't mean it's true. Also, doesn't mean that it's telling you the whole truth, which is why I only work with angels, because they're altruistic and they have boundaries with you. They're not going to be like all hooked into the back of your chakras and stuff. Whereas some, you know, invasive being is, you know, invasive. So they could be manipulating you, deceiving you, whatever. So whatever. So anyway, but you may have agreements with some of these lurker invasive beings that you've popped out now. And so your angels can't recycle those beings unless you clear the agreements first. So let's do that, right? So just pile up imagery representing your unhealthy agreements with any lurker beings that you have. And whatever representation you want, like pieces of paper to represent the agreements or whatever, and just use lots of gold light. You can just say, angels, can you help me clear any agreements that are not in my best interests? And can you help me update ones that need updating? So then you can one more time say, angels, can you recycle my lurkers? So then the beings, you don't have an agreement with those anymore, so your angels can go ahead and recycle them. So I hope that makes sense. So now we'll do the second part of this 3-step wrap up, which is clear STEBs. Super easy, right? Big gold blanket out in front of you, pile onto it any energy blocks that are triggered for any reason. You know, there may be, you're not conscious of it, but, you know, maybe something I said, of course, could have triggered you, or something you saw in the news, or something, you know, a friend of yours is doing that you only know about subconsciously, you know, whatever. Just anything that's triggered, put it out in front of you, or copies of it out in front of you, whatever, however you want to think about it, and just bring up red earth energy and soak all those energy blocks in red earth energy. You can say, angels, is it healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? So your angels will remove some things if something's too much. And then, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings that are hooked into this junk? Deep breath while your angels do that. And then you can go ahead and do the rest. Just use gold light from your hands. Melt away any cords going into these blocks. And use gold light and melt everybody's energy out of these blocks. Because that's probably why this stuff hasn't cleared automatically already. Is just that people are courting this stuff. And don't worry about how or why or who. Like, how could they court me? They didn't need to stop courting me. That's not very realistic to just hope for that. Just go ahead and you do it. Just uncord everybody, melt their cords, and then melt the blocks or blow them up at that point. All right, good job, good job. So then the third part is part that I enjoy how it feels. You just imagine some representation for your mind, either, you know, 2 gardens that are adjoined, you know, one for your subconscious mind, one for your conscious mind, or imagine your minds as beaches or forests, or one symbolic flower, or, you know, one tree, or however you want to imagine your mind, right? And just imagine that out in front of you, a representation of that, and bring up blue earth energy straight from the core of the earth. Because blue is a really nice soothing vibration for your mind. So, and of course, earth energy is soothing. So bring up blue earth energy and soak your mind with that. And you could just leave that up all the time if you want. And then while we're at it, you can just imagine some energy blocks in your mind that are healthy and gentle for you to clear right now. So just imagine the blocks, maybe like, you know, little black tiles or something, or little white tiles. And just use lots of cold light. You could say angels if there's any invasive beings in the way of this clearing. Can you recycle them? And you just, you know, you have your intention to be, you just want to do what's healthy and gentle to do right now. But you just imagine some blocks in either your conscious mind or your subconscious mind and just melt them away. And then that, imagine the flowy barrier between your conscious and your subconscious mind, which is, you know, healthy to have some level of barrier in between the two, because you don't want to be conscious of everything in your subconscious mind, right? But you do want to be able to access your wisdom and remember things and know things at a healthy pace for you, right? So just use gold light and wash out that flowy barrier between your conscious and your subconscious mind and melt anything that doesn't belong there, so that you have a nice healthy relationship between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. Because you want to, you know, have nice healthy realizations at a pace that is, you know, strengthening and stable for you. All right, good job, good job. That was the 3-step wrap up, which we will do again much more quickly at the end of the healing. So now, so now I'm going to remove my hoodie because I tend to get hot when I'm working. So I'll just pause for a second and do that before we go ahead and do this. Okay, thanks for waiting. So later I'll make the video chapter so you won't have to wait through that. If you hear it in replay, you can just go right to the chapter for creative rings, which we'll start now. So creative rings are up here, 1, 2, 3. There are 3 gold rings. They might not look gold. They might even be hard to see, depending on what's around them. But they're still there. Everyone has them. I know some people, occasionally I get someone who is like absolutely positive they don't have them. And yeah, I'm not going to get into a fight over it, but they're there. It's just possible that there's like invasive beings around it that are good at diverting your vision so you can't see them. But anyway, so they're there. 1, 2, 3, 3 gold rings. And so you just make a copy out in front of you of your 3 gold creative rings. You can make a tiny copy if you like that, or a big copy. But just use gold light from your hands and run the gold light through the creative rings to repair and unblock them and melt cords going into them from other people. And for the cords going into them from invasive beings, you can just say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings that are messing with my creative rings? You could also say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings that are making it hard for me to see my creative rings? But, clairvoyance is something that, you get better and better at with time. So don't train wreck on that if you can't see. Just use your intention and your thought to do the work. So creative rings have flaps, just like this is an image of a chakra. Well, yeah, basic shape of a chakra. And chakras have flaps around the round openings. So creative rings have flaps around the outer edge of the creative ring. And when they're open in an irritated state, this is what they look like. They stick out like that. But that's not what you want, although it's a really handy indicator that you need to work on them. But once you melt the cords and repair the creative rings enough and get rid of, have angels recycle the invasive beings, then the flaps fall shut. So there's just a smooth outer surface on each creative ring, around each creative ring. So, but like I said, these flaps being open is an excellent little clue that you need to do some work. And you can unblock above your creative rings, melt those energy blocks, from like here to all the way to the top of your aura. And just keep melting the cords going into your creative rings. You can again say, angels, if there's any invasive beings messing with my creative rings, can you recycle them? You can also say, angels, can you recycle my lurkers? In case you popped out some, but they still want to make trouble. You can have damage to your creative rings, like rather than a solid ring like that, it could be like a hard object stuck in it, and then this part is like broken up a little because of the force of the hard object that got thrown at it. So you can just double check for any hard objects and have those just pop out and destroy. Just pop them out and let them destroy, and then go ahead and do extra repair where the damage is. And if the hard objects could be thrown by people, but they could also be thrown by invasive beings. So you can just line up any invasive beings that have thrown hard objects at you, and the invasive beings that still exist that have thrown hard objects at you, and just say, angels, can you recycle all these invasive beings? Because it's always good. I mean, A, that saves you drama in the future because they're likely to try it again. But B, it's like you want to be a badass. You want to just make it known that there are consequences for messing with you. Yeah. So then, you just don't look like such an easy target on a spirit level. So that's one nice way to do it is, any invasive being that has thrown objects at you that still exist, angels, can you recycle those beings? And we can sticky gold wax your creative rings and all your major chakras at the same time. That's always kind of fun. So just imagine your 3 gold creative rings and then your 7th chakras, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So that's just the orientation of them. That's why I do my hand like that. So the 7th chakra is oriented this way, obviously way smaller than that, because, this is the top of it right here, and the bottom of it is like, in there just above my finger, you know. So it's you know, pretty small but powerful, right? But it's oriented this way, your seventh chakra, and then 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 are oriented this way with the round opening in the front and the round opening in the back, right? So imagine your seventh chakra, your creative rings and seventh chakras, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just sticky gold wax all of that above, inside, below, all around, all of them, and have the sticky gold wax stick to everything that's not you, hard objects, invasive beings, invasive people, anything that's healthy and gentle to get rid of right now. And then go ahead and move out the blocks with the junk. Angels, here you go. So sticky gold wax, your rings and all your chakras, your major chakras along your spine, and then move out the junk. Angels, here you go. All right, excellent. So that was so CR is an abbreviation I use often for creative rings. So what we just did was creative rings, repairing them, and then unblocking your creative rings and chakra 7 through 1 along your spine with sticky gold wax, right? So good job, good job. So let's move on. Oh, and I forgot to say, if you could give this live stream a thumbs up, that's my thumbs up for you. You're amazing. Go, 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 you. But if you could give this live stream a thumbs up or later as a video, whenever you're watching, it does help a lot. So I would appreciate it if you want to do that. Okay, so just a reminder that our theme that we're working today is liberate yourself in your life and also energy safety with global conflict, invasive beings, global conflict, invasive beings. So let's repair and unblock all your chakras. And as we unblock, we'll get them repaired first and melt cords, yada, yada. And then as we unblock, we'll unblock for general benefit, you know, whatever you need to clear that's healthy and gentle, but then also for those themes, we'll unblock for those themes. Okay. So as I said many times in life, this is your basic chakra shape. It's an open cylinder, equally open at both ends. Unlike some people say, oh, it's a cone. Actually, most people say it's like a cone shape where it's narrow at one end, but it's not very logical that way. So since it's not a physical thing, like say your arm bone or one of your arm bones, your arm, you can kind of make sure you unblock your chakras enough so that they're equally open at both ends, because then they release better. So that's what I would recommend. Anyway, so you create an image of a chakra. You know, you can have it look like this, you know, open cylinder, and just say with your intention, okay, this represents all my chakras, all my major chakras, 7 and 7, but also all my minor chakras. Which include acupuncture points and different energy centers in your limbs and, you know, all sorts of stuff, right? Around each joint, you know, all sorts of coolness. So just make an image of a chakra and say, you know, with your mind, you don't have to see to do it, right? And just say, okay, well, this represents all my chakras. So as I, you know, repair and unblock this, I'm repairing and unblocking all my chakras, right? And just use gold light from your hands and unclog it, right? And then melt cords from people going in, and the cords, typically they'll go in on around each round opening. So just melt those cords from people. And you can have cords from people that you pretty much are sure are invasive, but then also from people who maybe it's a little surprising for you, but don't worry about it. It's not like just melt all the cords. The only ones you would keep is like if you have a young child, like 12 years old and younger, keep the first chakra cord to them. All the other cords you can melt away. And you can say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings that are messing with my chakras? And you can lift out the baggage or melt it in place if you want. So if you lift out the baggage, you can say, angels, well, no, just with your intention, just lift out whatever's in the way of your overall happiness and wellness that's healthy and gentle to get rid of, and melt that baggage away. Lift out the baggage in the way of your happiness and wellness. Lift that out, melt it away. Productivity is always something that people like to work on, right? So you can lift out any baggage that's healthy and gentle to get rid of that is in the way of your productivity. Lift that out and use so much gold light that you melt it away. You could say, angels, if there's any invasive beings in the way of these clearings, can you recycle them? So this whole liberate yourself, energy safety with global conflict. So maybe you have some more baggage around global conflict. You can, that's healthy and gentle to clear right now. You can lift that out and say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? And then just melt it away with cold light. You could do you could do a tricolor soak for all your chakras, as you have this copy. I mean, red, it's the safest color for like a long-term soak, but you could do a short soak with red, orange, and yellow. So bring up red earth energy, soak all your chakras, even the minor ones, in red earth energy. Bring that down. Orange earth energy, bring that up. Bring that down. Yellow earth energy, bring that up. Soak it all. Soak all of them in yellow earth energy. Bring that back down. Bring up red earth energy again, because that's for sure going to be nice for all your chakras. And you can leave that up if you want or not. Non-resistance is something that we already worked a little bit, but you can just lift out any baggage that causes from your chakras that causes you to be in resistance to global conflict, or resistance to your sister, or resistance to whatever your work that you have to do. It does melt away the baggage that causes you to be in resistance. All right, good job. And again, you might have some invasive beings that they're like especially anchored into like multiple chakras at once, and maybe they don't clear out as easily even when you ask the angels. So you can just imagine like a suspect lineup of any invasive beings that are hooked into multiple chakras at one time of yours, and say, angels, can you recycle these invasive beings? And deep breath, breathe into your spine, breathe into your major joints as your angels do that work for you. And since perhaps some of that amazing work you just did knocked out some invasive beings, but they're lurking, you know, hoping to make trouble later. So angels, can you recycle all my lurkers? All right. Great job. Great job. So, back of head stuff. Let's do that now. So this is diagram showing the traditional Chinese medicine meridians that are going through the back of your head and the back of your neck. And in case you need to know, which you wouldn't have to know to heal these meridians, but if you're curious, those are the abbreviations for the meridians that we're going to be working. So GKW, that's just good karma windows, which is also back here, but I guess I'll confuse it with all these initials, right? So, but from left to center, from far left to center, that blue-green at the far left, that's the gallbladder meridian, GB. And then the yellow meridians in the diagram yellow, those are urinary bladder meridians. So UB, urinary bladder meridian, is the abbreviation. And then GV, governing vessel meridian. That's the one that starts in the crotch and goes up the midline of the back and hooks around and ends in the roof of the mouth. And the governing vessel meridian helps to manage all your yang meridians. So when you unblock that one, you're helping a lot of different. Okay. So that was just stuff that the veterans already know. We'll do. All right. So the base of skull points is, I'm basically going to do every point that you see right there. But I'm going to, yeah, do everyone. Right now I'm doing that midline one, the governing vessel meridian. And you can expand it so the meridian's like really chubby, so it's easier to see. It might be easier to see for you if it's red and flowing, or if it's hard and blackened and or white or silver or something. Yeah, just keep using gold light. And if it's even blackened the whole, you know, route that you see right there from the upper back to the top of the head, then you can go lower, you know, because it starts in the crotch. So you can see maybe if at some point it's red and flowing and then it becomes blackened, and just start there and repair and unblock. And sometimes this would be a good time to do a mini copy, because you could, you know, have a small copy where you get from here all the way up to here, just in between your hands. So you have a tiny copy of your governing vessel meridian, the whole back route of it. You just use so much gold light all at once. Repairing and unblocking. Governing vessel meridian as it goes up your back. And you may have knocked out some invasive beings, so just angels, can you recycle my lurkers? And then we'll just do the urinary bladder meridian. That's just the part that you can see there, the yellow line. And then the the gallbladder meridian, the far left and the far right one, that blue-green color, it starts near your eye and zigzags in a cool sort of pattern on the side of your head and goes up to your forehead, then goes straight back where you can see it right there. And it goes down the side of your body. So that's the one gallbladder meridian that helps with decisiveness. So you can just repair the part that you're seeing right there of the blue-green gallbladder meridian. And of course, red is a healthy color energy-wise for this meridian. I want to see it red and flowing, and if it's not, just keep healing and unblocking until it is. And then a lot of times, if you can't get the meridians really nice, it's because the back part, the auras behind it are just too either ripped up or just have big energy blocks in them. So you can comb through the back of your head and neck and outward and just grab a bunch of energy blocks that are healthy and gentle to clear right now and clear them. So comb through the back of your head and neck, outward to the auras, gather together a whole bunch of healthy and gentle to clear energy blocks. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? And you melt away the people from their cords, and then melt the block. And you can make a special grounding just for this whole area from red grounding from the center of the earth all the way up to the back of your neck and the back of your base of your skull. There are any invasive beings in the base of your skull, just kind of drag them a little and freeze them and give them to your angels. Angels, here you go. Drag them out just a little, freeze them, get rid of them. Angels, here you go. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into my base of skull area? And the invasive beings that are hooked into your base of skull area, they may also be hooked into multiple of your major chakras as well. So you can just imagine them kind of like in a garden. You want to pull the weeds, you want to get the roots too. So say the roots of these invasive beings are in your major chakras along your spine, and then you got the above ground part of the weed maybe sticking out of your base of skull area. Just freeze all that, drag it out. Angels, here you go. Freeze all the invasive beings, drag it out. Angels, here you go. And these ones wouldn't be like, these would just be like your garden variety invasive beings that get in the way of daily wellness and focus and all that. Good sleep. You don't want that, right? So you could have some energy blocks in your auras immediately behind your base of skull area. So just surround those blocks in so much gold light that they melt. All right. Sometimes, that blue-green one that we're doing, gallbladder meridian, as it goes down, and then it crosses your shoulder right there, like where your neck meets your shoulder. And sometimes that's where it kind of clenches up. You can comb around. I used to call it your V area right here, as if it's like the letter V. So comb outward in your V area. Yeah, just melt the blocks in there. You could have hard objects thrown into your V area. You can grab them and drag them out. Angels, here you go. Grab them, drag them out. Angels, here you go. And you could have You could have aura rips, you know, in your V area or, you know, anywhere in the back there. We did do aura repair already, but you can just double check, you know, in that V area right here. You know, do you have any aura rips? And if so, just send so much gold light in and just say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings in the way of this repair? And you can just say repeat a few times, you know, as you're working. Feel like it's still not fully repaired, you know, so that your angels once again recycle any invasive beings in the way. Keep using gold light. Fully repairs. You could have some hard objects there in your V areas, so you can drag them out, give them to your angels. Again, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings in the way of this repair? And again, back here too, you don't want any ripped up auras back there. So double check behind your head for any ripped up auras. And if you have any, just use a lot of gold light, same thing as before. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings in the way of this repair? And also melt energy blocks in that area behind your head. All right, enough. So then the other part of this base of skull or the back of head stuff is the good karma windows, which I abbreviate as GKW. But spelled out, that's what it is, good karma window. And so those are back here, right, behind your head. Technically behind your head in your astral body aura. But if you're a newbie and that fries your brain to know that level of detail, don't bother. But it's just back here, and it's like a back door into your energy system for invasive energies potentially. If it's damaged or blocked, then that's how it would be. But if you keep it repaired and flowing and nice, then it's just for you, and you bring in, it's one of the many places you bring in positive change energy. Right. So these little good karma windows, they just look like little triple frame windows. So this is a drawing of what I mean by a triple frame window right there. And they're, you know, all different rainbow colors based on, you know, your energy in each layer. But just imagine all the little triple frame windows. So you're combing like outward this way. Or you can just imagine one triple frame window and have it represent all 7 of them. And then repair and unblock that one, you know, like composite copy technique like we do for chakra repair. Depends on what you want. If I'm healing myself, I generally like to repair them one at a time. Unless I suppose they're all so screwed and I'm just not very patient, then I can do them all at once. And this also may have knocked out some invasive beings from your space because you're a rock star and this is very effective. So you can just imagine any invasive beings that have been knocked out of your space that maybe haven't forgotten about you yet, and just say, angels, can you recycle all these lurkers? Deep breath. All right, good enough. So we just finished the 5 essentials. We've been doing other stuff too in between there. Right after grounding, we did a lot of stuff. So that's why, an hour and 48 minutes into it, we're just finishing the 5 essentials because we've already done probably the biggest thing already. But this next part we're going to do is quite interesting too. Okay, so okay, so this is one of the 2 things that I'm grouping together to call part 2 of the energy safety with global conflict stuff. But it's also very much the liberate yourself and your life part too, is to do an Akashic record, upload and download. And there are 2 different types of Akashic records, in my opinion. This is one of those things where a lot of people have views on them, and a lot of people don't really look for themselves, though. They just say what their teacher said, and they're really married to that information. So sometimes people can have really strong feelings about this stuff. So just a heads up. But anyway, I don't think most of my clients are like that. But if you talk to like a friend of yours, they might have really rigid views about what the Akashic records are. But anyway, Akashic records, like a library of useful information. And there's universal Akashic records, which are, it's like a big library for really all of humanity, I guess. And the angels maintain it. And it, obviously has a lot of information in it. And then there's your personal Akashic records, which is for you as a unique eternal spirit. And your personal Akashic records is what I'm talking about. And we're working today. We're not going to go in there. We're just going to have you do an upload and a download from there. You can do it remotely. You could, like in your sleep, go into your Akashic records, of course, with your angels. You could do it awake, like if you're at home, not in a parked car somewhere, certainly not driving somewhere. Please, 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 please. But anyway, anyway, so it's your library that the angels maintain for you of all the knowledge that you've gained from your past lives already, and maybe earlier in this life so far. So there's a lot of good stuff in there, and you have so much knowledge as an eternal soul that a lot of it's too much to carry around in your aura and in your astral body when you're, living your everyday life. It would just be too much information and unnecessary, right? But there's some stuff that's necessary, but maybe it's only necessary for like, a couple years of your life, or 6 months, or a couple decades of your life. And then you finish a certain project, or you evolve beyond a certain issue, and then you need that information anymore, like handy. And so you can file it up in your Akashic records with your angels' help. You just send it up, and your angels will file it away for you for some other time when you might need it. So that's the general idea. It's just a library that your angels maintain for you. And I will say, I've said this before, veterans might know this, but that I've said this, but There are Akashic Record healers that specialize in the Akashic Records, and it's not my field of expertise, but from what I know, I personally would not get. I mean, personally, I wouldn't go to an Akashic Record reader, but if like I had a friend who was like really set on it, I would, try to have them make sure that the Akashic reader just reads it remotely and does not go in to their Akashic records, because for me that's a little unsafe for you if somebody's in your Akashic records, because in my opinion the only safe thing is if you go in with your angels escorting you, and they clean you out first and everything, so you don't bring in any skanky beings into your Akashic records, right? But if a healer goes in, I mean, they're imperfect, and especially pro healers and readers, they get a lot of attention from invasive beings, so the chance that they're perfectly cleaned out, maybe they wouldn't be. But even if they're not perfectly cleaned out, if they're reading it remotely, maybe, and your angels, but I'm just saying, just really double check that it's something you want to do. Yeah. So if that makes sense. Enough said about that. I think probably more than enough, as usual. So it's super easy to do. And when you do it, I mean, in my opinion, it kind of looks like gold confetti. So I'm going to do my little gold confetti thing right there. See, so it looks quite a bit like that, actually. When you're sending energy up to your Akashic records, it's like a gold confetti thing upward. And then when you do an Akashic records download, you're bringing information in from your Akashic records. It kind of looks like that, like a diagonal confetti little party, and you're bringing your information into your 7th chakra. So maybe I'll do the confetti a couple times just to remind you what it looks like, but it's not necessary. You can just kind of imagine it. You don't have to visualize or anything for it to work. It's just it's the kind of thing you can do with your intention or your thought. That's fine. Okay. So that's quite enough explaining. All right. So first, you can just imagine yourself, a copy of yourself out in front of you, and maybe do a tricolor earth energy soak first. So bring up red earth energy, and then bring that down and make your groundings orange, and bring up orange earth energy and soak all the way up with orange earth energy. Bring that down, and then make your groundings yellow and bring up yellow earth energy. Bring that all the way up. Soak all your auras and chakras and everything in yellow earth energy. And you could, you probably want to bring that back down to your normal level of grounding. So like right here, and put your grounding at whichever color, red, orange, or yellow you prefer right now. And we'll unblock your 7th chakra just a little bit extra, because the downloading and uploading involves your 7th chakra. So again, the orientation for your 7th chakra is this way, right? Round opening in the top of your head and round opening in the bottom there inside your head. So just imagine both your 7th chakras, and if you're reasonably present, the astral body 7th fits right into your physical 7th. So you could imagine them separately just to unblock them individually in case one is a little damaged. You notice it better if they're separate, maybe. Or if one is a little extra blocked, you might notice it more if they're separate. But you can also just put them together like they really are right now, probably, and that's fine too. If you have any hard objects stuck in your 7th chakra, just pop those out, let them destroy, and repair the outer surface of your 7th chakra. So right here and right here, it should be like the surface right there of the round opening should be like ripply and bouncy, like the surface of water. So if you had a big glass of water, that water surface, that should be very similar to a healthy surface of the round opening of a chakra. So you might have to pop out more hard objects and just say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings in the way of this repair? And do that with the underside too. Pop out the hard objects. Angels, can you recycle any beings in the way of this repair? And you can just, say, angels, help me do an Akashic Record upload if I need to. Help me have closure on whatever issues I need to, kind of turn the page on. If there's some issue that I'm really done with, angels, can you help me file away that information? And you can say something, maybe unless you feel like it already started, with your gold confetti, your Akashic Record upload going upward, that your angels are helping with. But maybe it hasn't started yet. You can remind yourself, I'm ready to let go. I can let go, because there'll be stuff that's healthy to let go of, but maybe you're not great at moving on and moving forward, It's just not your strong suit in this life, maybe, or, in this decade. So it's just, because of stress, it's understandable. I don't mean to mock you. It's just, maybe it's a little close to home, that one. So just unblock your 7th chakras and just think about, if there's something you need to let go of and move on from, it's okay, it's okay to let go. It's okay to move forward in my life. I want to do what's healthy for myself. I want to make the most of my life. I want to be true to my life purpose. So it looks like everybody that I'm healing is doing the Akashic Record upload now. Some started right away, but some needed that little extra nudge of the extra unblocking and the affirmations. And it could take a while depending on, how long it's been or what level of, thing that you just finished. Maybe you finished letting people define you as a victim. Maybe you finished kind of being a doormat with people you thought were friends. There could be all sorts of things that you finished. Just subconscious things too. Like maybe you finished pretending that, having a whole bunch of cookies before bed is a good idea. Maybe you're done with that level of denial. Maybe you're done with depending on other people to feel safe. Maybe you're realizing, like, you're shifting more into an adult space where you realize that it's your job to make yourself safe. It's your job to manifest abundance, in whatever way that you do it. So just breathe into your spine, breathe into your 7th chakra. You say, angels, help me to let go in a way that's healthiest for me. And you can stay here, feel your toes wiggle, feel your fingers, move your butt. Right? Your gluteus maximus, your butt muscles, they're supposed to be the strongest muscles in your body, which will help you balance. It helps you keep your blood flowing and everything. So go ahead and flex your gluteus maximus muscles. Nice antidote to too much sitting. All right, so that was the download. So, okay, so we just did the download. Oh, sorry, dang. Just did the upload. We just did an upload, right? You're letting go. It's okay to be done with something, right? And so now we can do the download. You could do it in the other order, but it kind of makes more sense to do it in this order, in my opinion. So now we'll do the download. All right, so the download is your information from your Akashic records escorted down to you by your angels so you can stay here and stay present. So you can just stay here and maybe comb through, have a copy out in front of you of your space, comb through all your chakras, comb through your auras, redo your gold buffer zones, comb through the area of your auras above your head, comb through your V areas right there from like where your neck meets your shoulders outward. Unblock that area. So even though you have a lot of receiving zones, all pretty much everywhere in your aura is technically a receiving zone. So if it's unblocked enough, you can bring in new positive change energy through there, like so through here, through your directly through your shoulders, through your good karma windows, through your lower back, through your tummy area, you know, all sorts of possibilities. However, the Akashic record download typically is straight into your 7th chakra. So we can just be nice again to your 7th chakra, unblock the top of it. You know, imagine you might have like some energy blocks stacked up on top. So you just, you know, get your fingers around that wedge of energy blocks and just say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this stuff? And then melt all the cords from people and melt the blocks. Again, blocks on top of your 7th chakra. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings corded into this stuff? Melt everybody out and melt the blocks. And this one you could just say, you know, angels, can you help me to download from my Akashic records whatever I need right now to, you know, make the most of right now. You know, and again, to me it looks like, you know, gold glitter coming down. But, you know, you can imagine it however you want, like, you know, rose petals coming down or something, you know. And just, you know, ask your angels, you know, angels, can you help me do an Akashic record download that's healthy and gentle for me to do right now? And just to complement that, because you have then the energy coming in your 7th. So then think of like your lower chakras in particular and your grounding. So like chakras 3, 2, and 1. And your legs. And so while that download is happening, we'll unblock the lower stuff to just kind of keep you rooted and anchored, help you feeling great, help you to feel great. So again, 6 through 1 are oriented this way, right? With the round opening in the front and the round opening in the back. So just imagine chakras 3, 2, and 1. And you might not be in your lower chakras. If you were in all your chakras, then the astral body 3rd fits just right into your physical 3rd. Astral body 2nd fits into your physical 2nd. Astral body 1st chakra fits right into your physical 1st chakra. But, you know, maybe you're not quite in all of them. So maybe you're in your 3rd, but not 2nd and 1st, in which case they're just, the astral one is like nearby, you know, so 3, 2, 1 maybe. But it doesn't matter. Just unblock them. Unblock 3, 2, and 1, astral and physical. I mean, it matters, but it doesn't matter that you know. You know, just unblock. And you can imagine them all together just because you're healing them all at once. So it's a little more convenient that way if you want. And unblock the fronts of them, just like we unblock the top of the 7th chakra. You can unblock the front and the back. I guess we'll do both. So the fronts of 3, 2, and 1, and the back of 3, 2, and 1. Right? So just comb through any energy blocks in front or in back of those chakras. So angels, can you recycle any invasive beings cording these blocks? And then melt the blocks. Melt cords from people and melt the blocks. Let's do more of that. That felt good. So comb through all the blocks in front of or behind your chakras 3, 2, and 1. Astral and physical. And then keep running gold light through those blocks. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this stuff? And then melt cords from people out of these blocks and melt the blocks. Stay here, keep breathing. Breathe into your legs. Legs, that's a good one to do, right? So gold sandstorm is an option for clearing your legs. Like that's spinning bits of gold light that, you know, are a little more assertive in clearing stuff out. So gold sandstorm through your legs to clear everybody out that's not, everything out that's not you, and unblock. You want to use your legs for bringing up red earth energy from the core of the earth all the way up into your 1st chakra. So most people are done with their Akashic Record download, but some people are a little blocked in the upper part of their auras, so we can just do a little bit extra unblocking. It's never a bad idea anyway. Those people that are a little blocked up there, then it's like they downloaded half of it, but then the other half is kind of queued up like halfway towards their 7th. So just melt some blocks so that people can finish their Akashic Record downloads. All right, great job, great job. Oh, you know what's a fun one? We don't usually do. I'm going to stick it in here. Okay, sticky gold wax for all your major chakras, 7 and 7. So 7 physical body chakras along your spine and 7 astral body chakras along your astral body spine. So imagine all those chakras out in front of you and sticky gold wax them, sticky gold wax. And I used to do it years ago, rather than just move it all out at once, give it to your angels. I used to kind of have fun with it and do it like as if you're waxing your legs or your body, you know, for like hair removal. And they put the hot wax on and then it, you know, it cools on your skin and like bonds with the hair, and then they rip off the wax, which, you know, don't recommend it. Just saying. But for chakras, it doesn't hurt and it is kind of funny, you know, so you could do that if you want, or you could just move them out, you know, in a more like matter of fact way. But if you want to sort of play around, you know, you have your 7th chakras, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, sticky gold wax, have the wax stick to everything that's healthy and gentle to get rid of. And then you kind of divide the wax into one half and the other half, you know, and then you just, whoosh, you know, angels, here you go. Whoosh, angels, here you go. And they can feel a little more cathartic, like in a good way, you know, but it's just kind of funny. So again, sticky gold wax, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you can divide the wax, like maybe the front part and the back part if you want, or however you want to, so you divide your wax and then whoosh, angels, here you go. Whoosh, angels, here you go. Sound effects are optional, obviously. But like I said, if you don't like that, you could just do the more mellow way with sticky gold wax and then have the wax bond to everything that's not you, that's healthy and gentle to get rid of, and then just move the wax out like that. Angels, here you go. Oh my God. So breathe into your spine and your major chakras, breathe into your major joints, including your ankles and all the cool little joints in your feet. So we did a little sticky gold wax, the waxing style, the way I used to do it a long time ago. I think there is like a short video where I do that. The waxing that I just did. So the other thing that I wanted to do, which I'm calling, I'm putting it within part 2 of energy safety with global conflict, is So I used this phrase last healing, and some people, it really resonated with them, and it kind of does with me too. Calling, blocks that you want to clear. If there are a lot of them, just calling it a junkyard, put out in front of you, and that's like, okay, this is your baggage junkyard, or this is your shame junkyard, or this, it's all the blocks that you have. I don't know, it's just kind of a fun thing, because like sometimes I think people are like, they don't want to see all of it, they just want to see a little bit, and if you think of it as a junkyard, it's like it maybe gives you a little more permission to see it all. All right, so clear fear junkyard. And first we'll just do yeah. Okay, so first we'll do, because that's part of the theme we're working today is energy safety with global conflict. And so it's much easier to be present or maybe much simpler. I mean, obviously it's challenging to clear fear related to global conflicts and military conflicts, right? But it's doable. So go ahead and imagine your junkyard of fear baggage out in front of you. All of the junkyard of fear baggage. It could be other people's fear that got dumped in your space too. But anyway, your fear junkyard that relates to global conflict. So whatever fears you have from about war and battles and physical violence from this life and past lives. Okay, anything left over you still haven't cleared, right? So it might be a really colossal junkyard, and just stay separate, right? You can put the junkyard further out from you if you start feeling it, because the point is just to be, the powerful self-healer that you are, and just look at it as that representation, not to re-experience anything, right? So you got your fear junkyard out in front of you, whatever's triggered by global conflicts from this and past lives, and then just get a sense of how massive it is. And then just say, angels, and you can sort it yourself first. How about that? So you can practice sorting. So just, don't overthink it, but just, whoosh, whoosh, So put all the fear junkyard stuff that's healthy and gentle to clear right now, relating to global conflict on one side, and the fear junkyard that is definitely not healthy and gentle to work on right now, relating to global conflict, that's on the other side, right? And then you say, angels, can you double check my sorting? So that we're sure I'm just going to clear what's healthy and gentle to clear right now, right? So then let your angels clear, sort. And then just say, angels, can you remove, from my vision and my, representation out in front of me, can you remove all the stuff that's not healthy and gentle for me to work on right now? Right? So then you don't have that junkyard anymore. You just have the junkyard that your angels have confirmed is healthy and gentle for you to clear right now. Your fear junkyard relating to global conflict, physical violence, whatever, from this and past lives, right? And then you can say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings that are hooked into this stuff? And then bring up red earth energy, soak all this, fear junkyard baggage that you have relating to global conflict, and use gold light and melt cords from people out of it. Get everybody out of your fear junkyard. Your global conflict, healthy and gentle fear junkyard. The mouthful. And then now you can, since everybody's out of it, you could blow it all up if you want, or you could just keep melting it with gold light till it's all gone. Okay, so we'll do that one more time. So imagine all your fear junkyard out in front of you relating to global conflict. Divide out what's healthy and gentle to clear right now, what's not healthy and gentle, and say, angels, can you double check my sorting? Deep breath. Angels, can you remove all the stuff that's not healthy and gentle for me to deal with right now? So then all you have out in front of you is a fear junkyard of yours, with stuff that's triggered by global conflict. And then just use red earth energy, soak it. You can say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings, cording all this junk, cording any of this junk. And then just use lots of cold light, melt everybody out, melt their cords, melt yourself out. And then you could blow it all up or just melt it fully with gold light. Keep breathing. See how that feels for you. How do you feel right now? How do your shoulders feel? How's your tummy feel? How do your legs feel? How's your mind? All right. Okay, so we'll do another fear junkyard. This fear junkyard, we'll clear any baggage you have in your space, any fear baggage you have in your space. It could be your baggage that you haven't cleared from this or past lives, or it could be other people's fear baggage that they've dumped in your space, or you've taken on a copy of their fear. But it's fear about taking action, which can cause you to just be unfocused and do just random stuff that's not really what you need to do right now. Not that that ever happens to me. Anyway, or it can cause you to, just kind of be uncomfortable while you are taking action. So let's clear it, right? So just pile out in front of you any baggage that you have about taking action, so just a big junkyard of all the junk in your space around taking action. If it's from you, if somebody else, who cares? Just any baggage in your space about taking action. So this is your fear junkyard about taking action. And then bam, bam, just real quickly, divide it up psychically. So one side is what's healthy and gentle to work on right now. One side is not healthy and gentle to work on right now. So you don't want to clear that yet. That's, for later dates. So then ask your angels, can you double check my sorting? And then angels, can you please remove the stuff that's not healthy and gentle for me to clear right now? So then all you should have out in front of you now, all you would have out in front of you right now is your fear junkyard about taking action that is healthy and gentle to clear right now. So you can do so one more thing you ask your angels is, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings that are hooked into any of this stuff? Deep breath while your angels do that. And then you can do the rest. Just bring up red earth energy. Lots of gold light, melt cords from people. And melt all the blocks. Or, once you have everybody out of your fear junkyard regarding taking action, you can blow it all up. Just as long as it's all destroyed, that's what counts. And if any's left over, just wrap it up in gold light, give it to your angels. Angels, can you help me with this? Okay, so we'll do another round with a different focus. This one is more just a catch-all for everything else, every other kind of fear that would be helpful for you to clear right now that's healthy and gentle. So it can be special projects, like say you're looking for a new job, or you're looking to, say, move far away in the next year, or you're looking to expand your abundance, or sleep better, or start working out, or all sorts of options, or just in general, any fear that you don't know what it is, but it's in your way. So just make a big junkyard out in front of you, pile into it any fear baggage you have in your space that relating to anything, any fear baggage you have, especially any fear baggage that's keeping you from accomplishing your special projects, like things you really care about that we haven't done already, right? So you have this giant junkyard out in front of you, right? Your fear junkyard, and then just psychically sort it. So one side is a fear junkyard that's healthy and gentle to clear right now, and one side is a fear junkyard that's really not healthy and gentle to clear right now. And I say, angels, can you double check my sorting? And angels, can you remove the junkyard that's not healthy and gentle to clear right now? And then you just have your healthy and gentle to clear right now fear junkyard out in front of you that affects you for any reason, special projects or just in general. And say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? Deep breath. And then you can do the rest. Just bring up red earth energy, soak the pile, use gold light, melt the cords from people going into this stuff, melt everybody out, including yourself, out of this fear junkyard of yours. Right? And then just once you got everybody out, you could blow it all up or just keep melting it with gold light till it's all gone. And if you have any left over, just wrap it up in gold light and hand it to your angels. Angels, can you help me with this? All right. Great job. Great job. So that was clearing your fear junkyard, which is a technique to clear fear baggage. And first we did it, any baggage relating to global conflict or physical violence. And then we did it for fear of taking action. And then we did it for just general stuff, you know, catch-all for your special projects or any other kind of fear that's in your way. All right. Okay, so this one is easy and interesting. Expectations from other people in your space can have a really profound effect on you, on what you're willing to try in your life, like how adventurous and bold you are, or how unrepressed you are, how free you are, basically, to make your own choices and decisions based on what's healthiest and most true to your purpose. So you can clear people's expectations out of your space, though. And, you know, there can be like agreements, but a lot of what I was looking at was not agreements. It was basically just pieces of energy in your space that therefore had a profound effect on you, often because of when you got it. Like maybe you got it before, technically, like at the start of your life, or maybe you got it, you know, when you were like 1 year old or 2 year old or 3 year old, something like that. So they end up having a big impact, but you can still get rid of those expectations from other people that were invasively put into your space. And so that definitely relates to the theme, liberate yourself and your life. Okay. So it might look like, if you imagine yourself, sometimes it looks like a hula hoop. I don't know if everyone knows what that is. Like if English is your third or your fourth language, you might not know that term, hula hoop. It's just like a kid's toy that's like a big round circle, and like people go like that, you know, to like kids usually go like that to like keep the hoop like going around your waist, you know. And some people are good at it, some people are not so great at it, you know, but like kids tend to be pretty decent at it a lot of times. But anyway, so these expectations, a visual representation of them, they can look like a stone hula hoop that's like maybe at the level of your 7th chakra, you know, out in your 7th layer, or maybe it's at the level of your 3rd chakra, you know, maybe in your 3rd layer, or, you know, whatever. They could be anywhere in your space, but they might look like that, these expectations. And like if it's the level of your 3rd chakra, maybe it relates to more of like what you're allowed to do or not do, what you should do, how you should act, you know, the type of taking action you should do or never do, you know, blah, blah, blah. 7th chakra, identity, empowerment, you know, decisions, like major life decisions, you know, it depends, but you don't really have to worry about it. You can just imagine, allow yourself, you know, imagine yourself, your physical body and your astral body, and then all your auras are all around you. And just, it doesn't have to look like a stone hula hoop. It can look like a little hard chip of energy or something, in one of your chakras or above your head or somewhere, you know. But just imagine a healthy and gentle amount of other people's expectations that you got, especially the ones that are pretty formative, but they're still healthy and gentle to get rid of, right? So formative expectations from other people that are healthy and gentle to get rid of right now. And just say, angels, can you double check that any of this stuff I'm imagining is indeed healthy and gentle to clear right now? And then just run gold light through what you're imagining. You know, whether it's stone hula hoops or it looks like little chips or something. And just run gold light through it. You can run red earth energy through the hula hoops or the chips or whatever. And you could say, angels, if there's any invasive beings hooked into this stuff, can you recycle them? And then melt cords from people going into any of these expectations. And you could say, you know, if you have concerns about backlash, just say, angels, help me do this safely. But we picked the healthy and gentle ones, so it's pretty much as safe as you can get. So but you can say extra, you know, angels, can you help me safely do this? You know, so that way you get a little extra help from them in the next day or two also. But go ahead and just melt away these formative expectations from others that are healthy and gentle to clear right now. Whether they look like stone hula hoops, or they look like in your auras, or whether they look like little hard chips in your chakras or in your auras or in your grounding. So I melted them in place, but you could also just lift them out and give them to your angels. Angels, here you go. So lift out some of the healthy and gentle expectations, healthy and gentle to clear expectations. They're unhealthy to have in your space though. But lift them out, give them to your angels. Angels, here you go. Or like if you have a stone hula hoop that's not removing, you can like crack it in the front and the back and just take the halves, and angels, here you go. You know, and then just give a little extra love to your chakras and your grounding. Redo your gold buffer zones. All right. So that was clearing out other people's expectations from your space that are healthy and gentle to clear right now. So good job, good job. Woo. Okay. So now we're going to do the exercise again that we did in the second healing 3 days ago with colored balls and some kind of representation that you enjoy of your mind. It just should involve like your subconscious and your conscious mind, whatever visualization that you have. And then we're going to clear blocks. So it's to help you have helpful realizations and or hear your angel messages better or enhance your psychic abilities. So I'll just walk you through it, but it's easy to do. So just imagine whatever representation that you enjoy of your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. And if you do a garden, it doesn't have to be a detailed thing. You just kind of say, okay, it's here with my intention. You don't have to like visualize every blade of grass or whatever. Just say, okay, this is my garden, you know, because the point of this one is not like, oh, is there a little area that looks funny? No, the point of this one is it's super high level reading. So you just say, okay, this is, you know, whatever representation of my subconscious and my conscious mind. And I have the flowy barrier between the two. And, then go ahead and imagine something that's in your subconscious right now, but it would be nice and helpful and healthy and gentle for you to have it in your conscious mind instead of your subconscious mind, right? So just imagine it like colored balls. Maybe it's gold, maybe it's some rainbow color. So if you want, you can imagine like a level of detail, like, okay, it's 7 red balls, you know, or 2 blue balls. But you don't have to. You can just say, okay, this is the energy that's healthy and gentle for me to realize, you know, in the near future or now, right? So just imagine some colored energy of yours in your subconscious mind, right? And then imagine the energy blocks out in front of you that that if you clear them, it'll help that subconscious info get to your conscious mind, right? So you can say, angels, is it healthy and gentle to move this stuff to my consciousness? And that way, if it's still there, then yes, it is, right? And then just get the energy blocks that are in the way and melt them. You know, just say, angels, if there's any invasive beings in the way of this clearing, can you recycle them? And then melt people out of the blocks and melt the blocks. So then all those colored balls should be popping into your conscious mind instead of your subconscious mind. If you have a couple more that are still there in your subconscious mind, just melt more energy blocks until they all pop into your conscious mind. Okay. So if you wanted to, you could, you know, meditate and journal right now, just like pause the video, like if you're watching a video, and just think about what those realizations are. But you don't have to. I mean, you could get a general idea. Oh, they're about that project, or they're about, you know, this, or, but you don't have to know. You could just, once they're in your conscious mind section, that's fine. You'll be aware of them when you need them. So you don't have to, you know, sit there and be super psychic and read them right now. So let's do that again. So imagine whatever representation that you prefer for your mind, conscious mind and subconscious mind, and the flowy barrier between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. And imagine some kind of information of yours in your subconscious mind that would be healthy and gentle for you to be conscious of right now. And so imagine that energy of yours in your subconscious mind as some kind of, you know, colored balls, gold or some rainbow color. And then go ahead and say, angels, is it healthy and gentle for me to move this stuff into my conscious mind? And their angels will sort through it and get rid of stuff that's not healthy and gentle to move over right now. And then just imagine the energy blocks. You can imagine them stacked out in front of you if you want, that you need to clear in order for that information to pop into your consciousness when you need it. So just line up your energy blocks that are in the way. You can say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this stuff? And some of it probably popped over already, maybe not all of it. So you can just melt a couple more energy blocks and maybe, you know, use gold light and unblock that flowy barrier between the subconscious and conscious mind. Maybe that'll help too. And so that was enough for any one that I'm healing. But if it's not, and you still have some of those colored balls in your subconscious mind that haven't moved over yet, just say, angels, can you help me with these, you know, with this information? If I'm meant to be aware of it, can you help me to become aware of it when I need it? And you could do that more, you know, like if there's an issue that you feel like you don't have enough clarity on, or like if you wanted to do more about, you know, psychic abilities, you know, maybe there's more energy in your subconscious mind that they could help you as a reader or a healer or something. And so you do that exercise more and more, to the extent that's healthy and gentle. But I think we've done it enough because I mentioned all those things right before we looked at the energy, and so it's good enough for now the way we did it. It's important to know like a good enough level. Because otherwise, you may just put off your energy work because you feel like it's never good enough, so you have to spend forever and you don't have forever. So why bother? So it's better to just do what you can when you have time and then move on with your day. Something is always better than nothing with energy healing, basically. All right. Good job. Good job. Woo. So this is okay, so this admittedly is a very packed wrap up. So if you're a newbie and you tend to get overwhelmed by all this advanced information that you haven't heard before, just chill out. Work your grounding for a few minutes if you want. Enjoy the vibration of this information. And you could say, angels, can you do this for me if I need it? Something like that. Because it's kind of a speed round that I'm about to do. And I'm doing it because I'm a healer and it will help the people that purchase this healing. So that's why I'm doing it. But as far as, all levels teaching, if it's over your head, don't sweat it. It's okay. I have little 7-minute grounding videos that, you could rock instead at some point when you want. Okay. So let's do it. All right. So the 3-step wrap up. There it is right there. Right. So imagine yourself and imagine your lurkers nearby, far away, but still eyeing you, thinking of making trouble. You say, angels, can you recycle all the lurkers? If you have any agreements with those lurkers, obviously they would be unhealthy agreements because lurkers are invasive beings. So you can just stack up representation of those agreements and use gold light to melt the agreements. And you can say, angels, can you recycle all my lurkers? All right, good job. So clear STEBs is another step in the 3-step wrap up. So big gold blanket out in front of you, pile onto it any stubborn triggered energy blocks. That's what STEB stands for. Pile them out in front of you. Anything that's triggered right now because of what I said, because of what your siblings said yesterday, whatever, because of politics, blah, 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 right? All that junk, put it out in front of you. Angels, is it healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? Deep breath. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? Deep breath. And then red earth energy. Soak it with red earth energy straight up from the core of the earth. Use gold light. Melt cords from people going into this junk. And melt yourself out. And then you could blow it all up now that everybody's out. Or you could just keep melting it with gold light until it is all gone. And you can say it's okay to let go. I can let go. It's okay to let go. All right, good job. And then the blue soak for your mind, right? The third one in the 3-step wrap up. So just imagine whatever representation you want for your mind and bring up blue earth energy straight from the core of the earth and soak your mind in the blue earth energy. Right? And then while we got this beautiful representation of your mind, you can heal it with gold light. And you can imagine whatever blocks that are either in your way right now from feeling really, centered and focused, or any blocks that are in your mind, but they're not yet in the way, but they will be tonight. So do like a proactive clearing of your mind for today and like the next couple days, I guess. Yeah, just imagine the blocks in your mind that are either in your way right now or they're going to be in the next couple of days, and just melt them away. You can say, angels, if there's any beings in the way of this, can you recycle them? Nice proactive clearing for the next few days for your mind, and bring up more of that blue earth energy, gold light for that flowy barrier between your conscious and your subconscious mind. Awesome. Good job, good job. So then we did the 3-step wrap up. So then how about the 7th to 8th chakra connection? I'm going to do a quick version of that. There is an excerpt video of this, and it literally has that graphic in the thumbnail. 7th to 8th. Let's see. 7th to 8th. So your 7th chakra is in your head, in the top of your head. If you're reasonably present, then your astral body chakra is there too, your astral 7th and your physical 7th. They fit nicely inside each other. And then you can just imagine your 7th chakra out in front of you, like a little bit like that diagram there with the bucket shape, the image of your 7th chakra. Purple is a good color for your 7th chakra. You can set your 7th chakras to your favorite shade of purple. And melt cords going into your 7th chakras from anybody. And say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings that are messing with my 7th chakras or messing with my 7th to 8th connection? So your 7th to 8th connection is a gold flowy cord, a good cord, between your 7th chakra, astral body 7th chakra technically, and upward towards your 8th chakra. Your 8th chakra looks like a big gold sun, and it's either a foot above your auras if your higher self is really engaged in what you're doing, or if you're doing something fairly meaningless and your higher self could care less, then your 8th chakra moves up a little further, like maybe 9 feet above the top of your auras. So anyway, there's still that gold connection, gold flowy connection. So just use gold light on that gold flowy connection, pop out any hard objects. The angels, can you recycle any invasive beings in the way of this repair? Unblocking. Because your 8th chakra has a lot of, well, some of your eternal wisdom and healing energy. So if you have a nice flowy connection, then it can come down when you need it, down into your 7th chakra. And if you clear the traffic jams, then it comes down in a more pure form without, whatever shame or guilt or resistance or fear in the way. All right, good job, good job. So now we'll continue with our speed round wrap up here. Legs. So just imagine your physical legs out in front of you and use sticky gold wax. Use whatever you want, really. Gold sandstorm or sticky gold wax or gold bottle brush to unblock your legs. This is an image of your foot chakra and also your kidney 1 chakra, which are both in the bottom of your foot. If I can find it. Here we go. Bam. So there's that. A giant foot. So you can imagine you're unblock both of those chakras. The big one is your foot chakra in the arch of your foot, and then the smaller one is your kidney 1 chakra, the first chakra in your kidney meridian. Super important. So unblock both of those and just unblock your legs so that you can bring up a lot of earth energy through your foot chakra, all the way through your legs into your first chakra. And block the back of your first chakra. So the back of your first chakra is back here. Chakra filaments. So filaments is just my word for the cord, the good cord, that's your cord, from your physical, one of your physical body major chakras to the astral body chakra of it that goes with it. So physical 7th chakra, astral body 7th chakra, 7th chakra filament connects the two, right? So you have a 7th chakra filament, 6th chakra filament, yada, 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 all the way down to 1st chakra filament, right? So just lots of gold light, have copies of 7 and 7, physical and astral body chakras, and those filaments, and just unblock those. You say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings messing with my chakras or my filaments? And you could sticky gold wax them and have the wax stick to any hard objects or energy blocks or invasive beings that you're ready to get rid of. And just move the wax and the junk out. Angels, here you go. Sticky gold wax all your chakra filaments and your major chakras. And move out the junk. Angels, here you go. And a little bit extra on filaments 3, 2, and 1. And physical body chakras 3, 2, and 1. So again, 3, 2, and 1, right? Round, open cylinder, opening in the front and opening in the back, right? So physical 3, 2, and 1. You can look at it from any angle you want, and just unblock. Your auras are round, physical 3, 2, and 1, and the right immediately the openings of physical body 3 chakras 3, 2, and 1. And then, you can comb downward from your 7th chakra all the way down to your 1st chakra of your physical body. Just make sure they're all working together nicely. And again, we can do a little proactive clearing. Big gold blanket out in front of you. Just, whatever is going to get in your way, any energy blocks in your space that are going to get in the way in the next month, let's say. Just pile all that up in front of you. Angels, is this healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? Deep breath. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? Deep breath. And just melt the piles with gold light. Get everybody out. Melt their cords out. Once everybody's out, you could blow it all up or just melt it fully with gold light from your hands. All right. So as we wrap up, you can just say, angels, can you please help me to finish up this healing? And angels, can you please help me to liberate myself. Angels, can you please help me to make the most of this lifetime? And affirmations you might like, you can always make up your own, of course. And if you get one that you really like, you can write it down. And, you know, if you have trouble remembering affirmations, you write it somewhere in your journal or something. But some suggested ones, you know, I'm going to let my angels help and guide and protect me. Angels, help me to enjoy my life to the fullest. Angels, help me to nurture myself and forgive myself and protect myself. All right, that's a healing. Good job. Woohoo. Woohoo. Good job, good job, good job. All right. So the healing is done. So we're not going to have any post-healing chat today because it's a Wednesday. And on Wednesdays, both my husband and I live stream on Wednesdays. So it's just more time efficient this way if I don't have a post-healing chat. So, but if you have any comments, you know, I will definitely read them later. Thank you for everybody's nice comments. I got some weather stuff that I didn't get to read yet, but I'll read it later. And everyone can see it in the chat, of course. And then, you know, some comments about how the healing was for you. Thank you very much. And you can also comment under the video because, you know, in a couple minutes, it'll be a video if you want. All right, guys. So the next, I guess I could show I'll show my website stuff. So if you want to purchase a set of healings, or if you have a subscription, say, and you know, so you don't have to manually purchase it all, but you just want to know what's coming up, like what are the dates of the July twin set this month, just look on my website, jwhealing.com. But I could probably tell you just looking at, well, I have it on my phone anyway. I have it pulled up. So the twin set later this month is July 23rd and 26th. So that's a Thursday and a Sunday, July 23rd and 26th. And then there's the August triplet set and the August twin set, all on my website. And then on the 15th, which is next week, I will be putting up the September sets for the September group healing sets. So for those of you that do like to plan ahead and get your purchases done, you know, your manual purchases done ahead of, you know, way ahead of time, 2 months out. Say if you're buying for your loved ones or something, you know, and you just want to make sure you did it. July 15th, you know, on the 15th, that's when that'll happen. And you can, if you don't get any of my news emails, I have one that's on the 15th, and most people now don't get that except the people I know that plan ahead and purchase 2 months out all the time. They're the ones that are going to keep getting that email on the 15th. But if you also want to get that email, you know, and find out what the theme is, you know, for September, you know, this month, you know, to think ahead, you know, let me know, email me and just say, yeah, I would like the email on the 15th that, you know, is for the planners, the advanced planners. But then everyone else that is getting news emails from me that I know wants them, they're getting an email 3 to 5 days before the triplet set starts, just talking about the theme for the upcoming 2 sets, because a lot of people that don't have subscriptions tend to not plan far ahead of time. So you could get both those styles of emails. You could say, Janet, I have no idea what you just said, but I want news emails. Figure it out for me, and I'll figure it out for you. And again, even if you've purchased healings from me in the past, I don't automatically add you to a news email list. You have to like literally ask me that, you know, and Janet, please add me to the news email list, you know, either for the people who just want to know for that month coming up, or the people that like advanced planning, or if you want both styles of news emails, that's fine too. Okay. So you're so amazing, and we'll close out with some butterflies. All right, bye. You're the best. Bye-bye.